Welcome to the Alien Portal podcast. Okay, let me try this again. Welcome to the Alien Portal podcast, where we ask the questions to the most out of this world topic, explore the world of ufology and ancient historical evidence of aliens. Come along for the ride while we learn of the existence of and coexistence with beings out of this world. Thank you for joining us today. I am Cris, your host, and I'm with my good friend B.
Hello.
Today I want to discuss kind of like monuments.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, because they're very mysterious, especially the ones that are the great monuments. Like we're talking about the the
Pyramids?
the pyramids. Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah,
Cool.
and one that's not considered a great monument, but I believe it's one of the most mysterious monuments is Machu Picchu.
Machu Picchu is pretty mysterious. I like Easter Island. That's far out to me too.
Yeah. Well, the study of ancient technology is not new by any means, yet we still have unanswered questions to how and why they built some of the most interesting structures and monoliths. Um, a lot of us already kind of know from History Channel how the pyramids were built.
Mm-hmm.
As you've been told in school and television shows, the pyramids were built with a large labor force, brute strength, ball rollers, and ingenuity. Before I continue, I want to say that I do believe we built the pyramids, but there lies mysteries that science still does not explain. Um,
Like, where
this,
did we get the design?
yeah, that's interesting too. Where do we get the design of the pyramid? Why the pyramid shape?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I I think also that it's not just the design, but um, the overall great size of the monument.
Yeah. The feat itself, because there's what, three pyramids, the Sphinx, and then you've got Valley of Kings and things like that human beings built, but they're still, it's such a grand scale for such archaic tools.
Yes, yes, I agree with that. Well, distance was not a problem for the Egyptians because of the Nile River, but we are to believe that balls made of stone were the rest of the trip. So, ball bearings were what they said that they rolled on sand to get through many miles, approximately 5 miles of desert in order to build the pyramids. So I'm not sure if that is a very explainable. Uh,
Haven't heard about them using, was it stone balls?
yeah, they're stone balls. Yeah,
Did they mine it from somewhere else, like
N-
from a quarry, and bring it up?
yeah. They everything was mined
Mm-hmm.
upriver
Mm-hmm.
in a quarry pretty far away actually, and because of the Nile River, they were able to transport everything. But in between, you know, the Nile River and trying to get things to the location, they
Mm-hmm.
use these balls that go underneath the structure, the block, and get pulled. And that is, smaller models were done to see if it's possible, but it's not nearly as large as 10-ton block.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if scientists can complete such a feat, transporting one block 5 to 8 miles, maybe I'll be convinced that that's how they did it.
Mm-hmm.
But what I find interesting is not just the pyramids, but the obelisk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because the obelisks themselves, they had to be transported. They weigh many more tons than the largest blocks of the pyramids.
Mm-hmm. I'd hate to be the movers of that. You can see Pharaoh up there. He's paid his good money for this obelisk, and these guys he's hired to move this obelisk, he's like, don't break it. This is Pharaoh's man. You
Yeah,
got to make sure you don't break it. Though most of them were enslaved, so they didn't really have a choice, but
well,
still, I'd be a little scared.
if they break it, they won't want to break it because then they would have to start all over again.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So it was a mutual thing.
Yeah.
Uh, well, the largest of the obelisks is estimated to be around 500 tons
Mm-hmm.
and 100 feet long. So
Where is
the
it?
where is it? It's still
Mhm.
in the quarry.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's supposedly cracked
Mm-hmm.
and it was not moved, but it is huge.
Oh,
Pictures
wow.
of that you show people down there in the quarry taking pictures, and it's a very large piece of artwork. You gotta say,
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty amazing. And
Wonder if
I really want to
do they
see
know
that in
how old
person.
it is?
I didn't check that to see how
Oh, it'd be
old it was.
interesting. So I'm curious to see which pharaoh is the one who had it done. They're always trying to do bigger and better than the last one, so.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, well, it's also 100 feet long, so there is another issue that I'll discuss in a second. Let's say for a moment ball bearings were used to transport the obelisk.
Hmm.
How do they
All I can
manage?
see is Indiana Jones and, you know, running from that giant boulder coming after him. Like that's
Hmm.
the image that keeps replaying in my head every time you talk about these boulders that they use to move this stuff with.
Well, they're much smaller.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that's interesting too. I don't think any real civilization ever created a boulder that large in order to make a trap or even just to make a boulder
To move something.
to move
Yeah.
something. Yeah. Uh, well, how did they manage to erect the obelisk? Do you have an
Hmm.
idea, B?
Very, very carefully.
Well, supposedly they use ancient pulley systems and everything like that. And this is something scientists have admitted they don't know because they made an attempt with ancient techniques without any success.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. So we can use modern equipment, but how did they erect this? In, well, not, they had problems erecting a smaller obelisk with
Hmm.
ancient techniques. Can you imagine if we would have been able to see the largest obelisk, 500 tons, 100 feet long, and just find out how the hell did they erect that?
That'd be kind of neat. Yeah. I,
Yeah,
I would definitely, I wish they could have gotten it out of the quarry and put it up because that would be pretty fascinating.
yeah, that
I
would
mean,
have
the
been.
fact that, like, see, I'm amazed just at the way the pyramids are built themselves. Here are these giant structures with these huge blocks, and you know, it it just seems like an unbelievable task, like the Great Wall of China or something like that, some Herculean endeavor.
Yeah.
Um, and of course, it was done on the backs of uh,
Of labor,
uh-huh,
slave labor
slave
too.
labor. Yep.
Yeah.
That's how they got their force. It's like, oh, let's conquer you and make you do this.
Yep. And I would say that I would be in awe if I would see all this in person.
Yeah, that would be kind of.
Yeah. Like talking about the Great Wall of China, you can see
Mm,
that from space.
mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. That's pretty darn cool.
Yeah, that is. Well, across the world, in Peru, we have the mystery of Machu Picchu,
Mm-hmm.
ancient historical site that was built by technically an unknown civilization because scientists say that the Inca people built it, but the indigenous people say that it was there long before.
Mm.
So right now, as is always said that the Inca built it, but
I wonder if they did carbon dating on it.
yeah, they have, and there are three different architectural styles there.
Mm.
So you can see like the one of them was a lot like how they built the pyramids. They uh, they would quarry or move boulders, large not boulders, but large blocks, get them to the site, and then shape them there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
and that's pretty interesting because this here civilization this far apart from each other that did
Mm-hmm.
something similar.
Yeah,
And yeah,
that's always been interesting to me too. At the same time, the mound builders in the United States were working on were building their mounds as well.
yeah, they were. And in Machu Picchu, since they have those three architectural styles, you could kind of see the evolution where the Inca took over
Mm-hmm.
and they started using their blocks because it's more of a archaic style of building. Uh,
Oh, okay.
it's it's like smaller blocks and they were irregular shape and they were put in together as best as possible. But the older architecture is put very precisely together and they're
Gotcha.
larger. Yeah. Um, well, it's very puzzling. Um, some speculate that the boulders and stones were formed using ancient tools, but some believe that the stones were molded as if they were clay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And how do they do that?
That would take forever to bake.
Yeah, that would take forever to bake. But this is interesting because this is not the first time they mentioned that formation of stone in that way.
Mm-hmm.
There is a tale of a chemical that they used that was that would not melt, but soften the stone, so that way you can work with it by hand.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I wonder
and
if it was caustic.
yeah, I wonder too. I was actually going to mention that if they could even touch it to begin with, because
Mm-hmm.
if it melts freaking stone,
Right. What does it do to someone's hands?
yeah, yeah, or maybe they used tools to touch it. I don't know, but I kind of am mostly speculating how they did that.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah. I want to thank Uncharted X on YouTube for the great info on Machu Picchu, because Machu Picchu has a lot of information online, but many of it doesn't touch into the mysteries of it. And Uncharted X was able to touch into the mysteries of Machu Picchu, and with a um, great historical knowledge of the site. Well, that does it for us today for the episode of Alien Portal Podcast. Please leave a comment or question. I'm eager to hear what you have to think. Thank you for listening, and until next time, my friends.
Have a good day.